Yo, what is up guys? So we're here to go over the latest Fortnite patch notes on 7.20, but technically it's 7.20 something because they also added more things that I'm sure a lot of you guys want to know about. We're talking about buffs and nerfs and changes specifically to the zipline that are overall quality of life, I would say. But there's also a lot of other changes, like for example, the minis, you can only carry 6 now. But let's go ahead and jump right into it, going over all of the changes from the latest Fortnite patch. But anyways, first off, the biggest thing that I think a lot of people already saw on this latest patch was basically the new sculpt revolver. If you guys haven't seen gameplay of that, I basically made a video dedicated towards that. I'll have that down below in the pinned comment. You guys can check that out as well. But really, it's the glider redeploy. This is just in the base game mode right now. But we're really here to go over the changes, but there is a glider. You guys can see it over on the 6th item slot. You guys can see it's at 49 out of 50, but this is only during the LTM. The regular game modes, you can only hold 10 of the glider redeploy, which allows you to redeploy. But specifically in the latest patch, they added the scope revolver. It fires medium ammo. You can deal 42 damage with one color, and with the other color, you're going to be able to deal 44 damage. You can find it on floor, chests, supply drawers, basically everywhere. But the most important thing is they added the gliders. But let's go and talk about certain things that you guys might not have known. It does technically take up an inventory slot, but it can hold up to 10 charges per one that you actually have. But each deploy uses a charge, and when all the charges are used up, the item disappears. What this technically allows you to do is if you're about to glide somewhere and you can like pick up something real fast, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember where you can use the portable rift. You use that and then you pick an item real fast, so you can do that with that as well. At least as of right now, it might be patched later down the line. But anyways, if you use something like a launch pad or a rift to go, it will not use a redeploy. And again, you can find this anywhere. Next up, we're actually into what I want to really talk about, which are the buffs and nerfs and the changes to the game, as well as the quality of life changes specifically to the zipline, because there were so many issues with that zipline that I think a lot of players complained about. But anyways, as far as the minigun, it got buffed and nerfed in this latest patch. So they added an overheat mechanic. Overheat occurs after firing for 6 seconds of a continuous fire. So obviously that is a nerf to the gun. But there's a buff. It says reduce the windup time by 37%, which obviously is going to make it better for you. But again, there's a buff and a nerf. So you guys can let me know how you feel about the minigun. I generally don't pick that thing up anyways, but I'll get you guys gameplay very soon of the new minigun, and we'll see if it's actually like any better. But what this really means is if someone's continuously firing with it, if you kind of want to counter it, what you can do is just keep on building, but at that point they can stop firing for a little bit and then refire. So just be on the lookout for that. They also updated the audio, obviously to match, of course, the new wind-up time. They changed the rarity of balloons down from epic to rare, and the stink bomb also went down from epic to rare. The scoped AR decreased from rare to epic, rare epic to uncommon / rare, so basically down 1. And the falling projectile-based weapons have the same projectile trajectory as the heavy sniper rifle. So basically what this means is all the sniper rifles, with the exception of the heavy sniper rifle, basically got buffed. And I say basically because if you have your muscle memory where you know exactly kind of how to shoot some of the sniper rifles, the heavy sniper rifle has less of a lead required, meaning that the bullet travels a little bit faster, so you don't have to aim ahead of your opponent as much as you normally would. So technically I would say this is a buff overall, but again, for people that have the muscle memory, it's going to be something that you're going to have to get used to. So they all match the heavy sniper rifle. This is actually a buff to people that are getting those icy feet from going over to areas that are frozen. Basically, you're going to have the first shot accuracy like you normally would. But then, if you think about it, an icy feet, that's actually pretty good. That makes it almost worth it to try to go for that first shot accuracy, especially if you're sliding around. It's going to make it a lot more difficult for some people to actually hit you. But anyways, also it works on zip lines. I feel like with zip lines, I mean, you're already so much at a disadvantage. It's not even that good, but it definitely is a buff to people that are trying to shoot on zip lines. But also, you're going to see a lot of gameplay, and the reason why I chose this whole LTM gameplay is because I used the thermal scope, and the thermal scope actually got a buff here, as well as just the scoped AR. So the center dot on the scope rifles has been reduced in size. This will mitigate situations where it appears you're on target, but you still miss the shot. So you'll see me use this gun quite often in this gameplay, and basically the little dot is just smaller, and that helps out a lot because it was so big before, you would be on target, you would shoot, and you'd be like, why the heck didn't my shot register? So basically, the gun, it's not increased in accuracy, but what it is, you can see the dot right here, is it's just easier to land your shots because the thing isn't as large and it makes you kind of land your shots easier. Again, it's just more of a visual change, but it definitely does help out quite a bit. We're going to be dropping like 20 plus something kills in this gameplay here, but I heavily used it in this, and I think that it's one of my favorite weapons, and I think it is actually really good that they did this change. But they also changed a lot of stuff in the game. Let's go ahead and go over those. But anyways, the drop chances, they adjusted this. So basically, sum it up over here. If you guys want to read all the patch notes, leave it down below. But I'm going to kind of go over these a little bit faster. Basically, there's going to be more campfire strap. There's going to be more launch pads. There's going to be less turrets. And then they actually changed the shield stack size of the smalls from a 10 to 6. Let me know how you guys feel about that change. I kind of liked killing someone and then they drop like 8 minis and it's just kind of nice. But what this does mean is if you loot an area that has already been looted, you might still find minis. So that's kind of like a good thing. Depending on the situation, it could be like, I guess, favorable or not favorable in other situations. They also fixed a small amount of bugs that had to do with the grapple, where basically after you use the grapple, or the grapple would disappear because it's your last shot. Sometimes you just couldn't swap weapons, you couldn't fire, you couldn't do a lot of things, okay? But they have actually made changes to that. A lot of stuff has to do with that. They also made it so balloons would actually pop by explosions now, because I guess before it didn't. They also fixed a issue where dynamite size and scaling, when you picked it up and you re-threw it, it would be different, which, again, these are mostly like bug fixes. I'm not going to really go over them too much in detail. But there's one where a lot of players would get the no-scope in the kill feed in the bottom left. It would say that you no-scoped someone, but you would actually be scoped in. It was just a bug, and these are really small, minor adjustments that I'm not going to really go over in depth, but if you guys want to read over those, you guys can go ahead and do so. I just want to go over what I would consider that's really important. Zipline, alright? This is something that I feel like is a very big deal in the game. So anyways, it says that added the ability to change direction via player movement input. Just move in the direction you'd like to go while riding a zipline and no jumping required. So that's actually pretty helpful, and it says rather than moving at max speed as soon as entering the zipline, players will now accelerate over time to reach that max speed. This is something that, again, if I didn't read these patch notes, I wouldn't have known that you actually accelerate over time. But another important thing with the zipline is destruction effects have now been turned back on while riding a zipline. So basically you're able to just go through things, but dude, that new scope, look at the accuracy. It's just so much better. As I say that, we potato every single shot right there. But anyways, you can see the guy's jumping and he's gonna go ahead and change direction. You could technically do that before, but it's a little bit better now. But anyways, the destruction effects are the following. Players will destroy the nearby player buildings before attaching to the zip line so their path becomes clear. This was an issue. I'm sure a lot of you guys have gone on a zip line and you just like fly so super far away and you just die. It was annoying, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen multiple streamers complain about zip lines. And in fact, a lot of people were like, dude, I'm not even going to get in zip lines. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I don't want to get on zip lines a lot of the time because I am legitimately afraid that it's just going to shoot me off and then I'm just going to like just instantly die. But anyways, this is another change. It's mostly for, I'd say, PC players, but with console players, you're able to do this as well. Because I know, technically, if you have an Xbox, you can change like the sensitivity a little bit more on the Xbox. But it says they added a third decimal place for mouse controller sensitivity to allow for more granular values. So basically what that means is you can go in between certain sensitivities now. So overall, these are great changes for, I'd say, mostly PC players, but then again, you can just change your DPI anyways, and again, if you're an Xbox player, you technically had that in the dashboard anyways, but for PlayStation players, I think this is the biggest change here, because I don't believe, unless there's some other third-party application that people are using for PlayStation, yeah. But anyways, to help a situation where wall builds are mostly underground, we've added functionality where an extra piece will be built for free on top of that piece. This is a huge change. Again, this is something that I didn't actually know about, unless of course I read the patch notes. That's why it's always good to know exactly what these changes are. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because again, sometimes even when they release the patch notes, they'll add more stuff to it, because again, they've added more stuff to this list, because originally when it came out, everyone was just like, scope revolver, that's it! And of course the glider replay. But this is huge. This is a huge deal where when you're building and it gets placed on the ground, and it's going to build another one on for free. Even better, man. And it says this occurs when the wall piece is showing less than 30% above ground. This is usually due to areas that are not perfectly flat. They also changed the gamepad sensitivity. It says building sensitivity change is also now applies to edit modes. They also made it so editing will no longer interrupt gunfire and pickaxe swings. Corn stalks will no longer block gunfire. Oh, that's a pretty interesting thing. I didn't even know corn stalks blocked gunfire. Since when? I was pretty sure you could shoot through those, but it might be just a bug. I don't know. That's why it's always important, again, to check out these notes. Now, this was actually removed. They crossed this out. This is one of the things that they did change. So it says editing a structure will now begin without waiting for a response from the server. This should cut down on ghost shots before editing and make it a smoother experience. This actually caused another bug in the game, so they actually removed it. Oh, there's that thing where I'm destroying things as I'm going across the zipline. But anyways, it says confirming the edit will still require sending data to the server and be impacted by high ping or poor server performance. But it says due to an issue, this feature has been disabled until patch 7.30. So this was actually a huge change. It was actually nice. I think that the gameplay that you guys are seeing right now had the original change, and then they actually, again, removed it. But anyways, this is another change in the game. It says vehicle impact damage to a player will now respect shields instead of directly applying to player health. So that's overall just like a meh change. It says also when a plane explodes due to any reason, it will now deal damage to both passengers and pilots. This damage no longer ignores shields. So I mean, again, this is not really like a buff or a nerf, it's just like kind of a change. This was a change that I didn't even expect them to put in the patch notes, alright? So, the infinite dab is more infinite. I didn't even know it wasn't infinite. Okay, so, who is dabbing for 10 hours and complaining? So, apparently they buffed the infinite dab emote to last for 11 hours. I mean, epic. You're so good with your game patch notes. I have no idea. Why would they add this in the patch notes? You can dab for 11 hours instead of 10 hours. Yo, maybe we should go and make a video that's 21 hours long going over the buffed infinite dab. I'm sure people would just watch that. Like, it's dumb. Anyways, they also changed some of the audio issues in the game. They adjusted the map to more accurately represent player marker positions. Textures, props used for emotes are now pre-streamed, so scorecard and other modes that use props will have less of a chance of using a low resolution texture. But really, there's a few sound issues that I wanted to address, because a lot of the other things were just like bug changes, and it says the zipline magnet will no longer remain over players' heads. This was something that kind of happened randomly. Actually, we gotta go back here. There's still there's too many patch notes, but this is just something I wanted to mention. They reduced the volume of the airplane. They also reduced the volume of the boombox, and they added a unique bouncing sound to the dynamite, so you know exactly when that's hitting, because I figured that's kind of something that's important to actually know. And it says they fixed shield damage sound playing when shooting or getting hit by teammates. So that's kind of interesting that they also did that. But overall, yeah, those are the new patch note changes. Just go ahead and just watch that quick little victory royale. But anyways, guys, those are the latest Fortnite patch notes. You guys can let me know your thoughts on any of the patch notes down below in the comment section below. Do you guys like these patch notes, or are you guys upset about them? Personally, for me, I think the patch notes are great when they are applying to the bug fixes. But things like the infinite dab, like those are pretty much pointless. I'm hoping that this whole like editing thing will go back in. It says it has been disabled till later on, but I felt like it was a lot more smooth to edit. As far as the zip lines, dude, they were so broken. In fact, like whenever they're making it more consistent, I think that these are overall great changes for the game. But anyways, those are my thoughts. You guys can let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section below. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the vid. If you did, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more Fortnite as well as other gaming content. And peace out.